In a busy city filled with the hustle and bustle of everyday life, there lived a young artist named Meera. Her days were filled with the sounds of honking cars, chattering crowds, the clattering of coffee cups in the cafes, and the hum of the city's constant movement. Meera was an artist, someone who found solace in colors, brushes, and the creation of beauty. Yet amidst her passion for painting, she found herself overwhelmed by the world around her. The noise of the city had begun to weigh heavily on her. Her thoughts seemed jumbled and disordered, as though they were drowning beneath the cacophony of life. Despite her talent, Meera was struggling to create. Her once vibrant paintings had become dull and lifeless. Every brushstroke felt forced, and every idea seemed out of reach. One evening, as Meera walked home from the studio, her mind heavy with frustration, she saw an old man sitting on a bench in the park. His long white beard flowed like a river of wisdom, and his eyes sparkled with a quiet understanding. Meera, desperate for some peace of mind, decided to sit next to him, hoping for a moment of respite. Without a word, the old man turned to her and smiled, as though he had been waiting for her all along. She sat down beside him, feeling the weight of the world still pressing on her shoulders. "Why do you look so troubled, child?" the old man asked softly, his voice calm like a gentle breeze. Meera sighed deeply. "The world is too loud. The noise, the chaos, it's everywhere. I can't find peace. I can't create anything anymore." The old man nodded, his eyes never leaving hers. "You long for silence, do you not?" Meera looked at him, surprised. "Yes, I do, but I am afraid of it. Silence feels like emptiness. Without the noise, I am unsure of who I am or what I am supposed to be." The old man chuckled, a soft, knowing sound. "You are not the first to fear silence, and you will not be the last. But silence is not emptiness, my dear. It is the space where you can hear your true self. The world has taught you to fear it, but I offer you a gift that will help you find your true voice." He reached into his robe and pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden box. "This box contains the gift of silence. If you accept it, you will experience 1 week of complete silence. No words, no sounds, not even the hum of the world. You will be alone with your thoughts, your feelings, and your art. At the end of the week, you will understand the value of silence, and you will find your way again." Meera hesitated, her heart racing. A week of complete silence. Could she truly endure such a thing? She was not sure, but her yearning for peace outweighed her fear. She nodded slowly, accepting the box. "Remember, silence is not your enemy, it is your teacher," the old man said, and with that, he disappeared into the evening mist. Meera returned to her apartment, the box still in her hand. She placed it on her desk and sat down in front of her easel, unsure of what to expect. The first day of silence was the hardest. She couldn't escape the thoughts that screamed in her mind. The silence felt deafening. Every passing car, every footstep, every chirp of a bird outside her window seemed louder than before. She felt as though she were drowning in the stillness, but she kept her promise to the old man. She remained silent, allowing the stillness to envelop her. By the second day, she began to notice something unexpected. The absence of noise allowed her to hear things she had never noticed before. She could hear the rustling of the leaves in the trees, the soft breath of the wind, the delicate tick of the clock on the wall. Meera could feel the pulse of the world, not through the noise, but through the quiet hum of life. On the third day, Meera sat down to paint. Without the constant distractions of the world, she found herself completely absorbed in her work. The colors on the canvas came alive in a way they hadn't before. Her brush strokes were fluid, each one full of purpose and meaning. The silence allowed her to tune in to her innermost self, to the emotions and thoughts that had been buried beneath the noise. She painted with a newfound clarity, her mind clear and focused. As the days passed, Meera continued to find beauty in the stillness. She spent hours in the park, listening to the rustling leaves, the distant chirping of birds, and the sound of her own breath. She began to hear the melodies of the world that she had never noticed before. The world was not silent, it was simply speaking in a different language, one that could only be understood in quietude. On the fifth day, Meera walked through the city, but something had changed. The honking horns, the chatter of people, the constant noise of the streets no longer overwhelmed her. She had found a new way of perceiving the world. The noise, while still present, no longer dominated her experience. She could hear it, but it no longer controlled her. She felt calm, centered, and at peace. By the sixth day, Meera realized that silence had become a friend, not an enemy. It had taught her to listen to herself, to trust her intuition, and to embrace the quiet moments. She had rediscovered her art, and with it, her passion for life. The fear that once consumed her had dissipated, replaced by a deep understanding of who she was and what she wanted to create. On the seventh and final day, Meera sat in front of her canvas, her heart full of gratitude. She had spent the week in silence, and in doing so, she had found her voice. The world was still loud, still chaotic, but she was no longer afraid of it. She had learned that silence was not something to fear, it was something to embrace. It was in the silence that she had found her strength, her creativity, and her peace. When the week ended, Meera returned to the world, but she did so with a newfound sense of self. She knew that she could create in the chaos, that she could find peace in the noise. Silence had taught her to listen, to trust her inner voice, and to be present in the moment. As Meera returned to her studio, she noticed something incredible. Her art was no longer just a reflection of the world around her. It was a reflection of her inner world, a world that had been shaped and nurtured in the silence. Her paintings were vibrant once again, filled with emotion, depth, and meaning. She had found her true voice, not in the noise of the world, but in the quietest of places. Moral lesson: silence is not something to fear. It is in the quiet moments that we can truly hear ourselves, find our creativity, and connect with our inner wisdom. In a world full of distractions, taking time to embrace silence can lead to transformation and clarity.